Hey, it's Nancy Blanchard here from Bo's Professional. And you know what Tuesdays mean is that it's the AV Life podcast. So you are watching and listening to both Tim and I tonight on the AV Life.
Yeah, and I'm your host, Tim Van Wert, coming at you from New Jersey. And yes, it's just Nancy and I here tonight. A little one-on-one conversation, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life. All right, we're back here. Nancy's got to do our little
Yep.
photo.
One, two, three. Okay.
And find that out on X very shortly, and potentially all the other social media places. So yeah, we got folks all over the place. We were wishing Renee well. They're about to get hit with more snow there in Kansas City, which I'm like. This whole climate change thing has been a little nuts this last year. I mean, I will say here in New Jersey, it was nice getting a little bit extra snow and a little bit extra cold weather, but
Yeah.
I kind of my wife thought I was crazy before. I was like, I kind of I'm a little jealous. And she goes, "Why are you jealous?" I'm like, "We haven't gotten a blizzard in years. Like I'm talking like a 2-day home from school blizzard. Like, we haven't had one of those in years." And I think I mean, Renee can correct me later, but I think this is like the third one that they're getting this year, at
Yeah.
least. And like I'm talking like multiple inches, like big snow. Um, so
Wow. Well,
yeah, I mean, you use the word blizzard. I'm assuming like that's what you're talking. Like blizzard doesn't mean, we're getting a flurry.
yeah. Yeah. But you know what's really weird is so when Virginia Beach got the snow, and I've been to Virginia Beach, it was like, huh? And
Mhm.
then it went all down the coast of Florida. And then today I read that Texas got tornadoes, and I was going to text my son and say, were you around any of those? Because it's like he said to me, he goes, "Mom, I expected fires in California," and he goes, "But we've got warnings in Austin about forest fires." And I said, "Alex, they're all over right now. They're in South Carolina. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to all of this weird weather going on." And then I heard today about tornadoes.
Mhm.
I just don't get it.
And this is a maybe I'm nitpicking here, but I'm getting tired of people saying, "Oh, well, it's global warming," and I'm like, "No, no, no, no. Like, we gotta stop using that term because
Yeah.
yes, like there are some places that are increasingly getting warm and stuff, but the global effect is climate change now. Things are changing the way that they're not supposed to be. This
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little preachy, but as a New Jersey resident, like New Jersey's always been on the forefront of environmental type issues. Like this is going back as far as I can remember. The first governor I remember like growing up was Christy Whitman. And she ended up being the head of the EPA after she left here. So after she left being governor in New Jersey. So like that just shows you like where we are as a state when it comes to that. And I don't know. It's just something I've always kind of like I've got family who are involved and things like that. So like, um, maybe I got some naysayers out there that'll say no, no, no. There's no such thing, and I'm like, but there is. Like, Virginia Beach shouldn't be getting 14 inches of snow. Like, it. Or actually, I think because I got my half sister is down there, and I think it was 15. I actually was what she finally measured at. And she's a so and like here in New Jersey, yeah, we got strips of cold weather. This was a semi-regular winter for New Jersey. Like this is what it's supposed to be. But like you can't just say, "Oh, well, that state's okay," but "Oh, I don't know about that state." Like it's the
Yeah.
global image that you need to look at when it comes to that. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, and all the heat waves and the fires and everything that you've had out on the West Coast, like that's not typical either.
Well, and traditionally there's been, the forest fires for us in Santa Cruz Mountains and then up at Sonoma, Napa. We haven't had anything. It's all been LA area
Mhm,
down in SoCal.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to. And then what was it? 2 summers ago was the Canadian wildfires. Like, it's
And usually those are yearly in BC.
mhm. It was
Yeah.
just that, but I think that summer specifically, like spring summer, was just exceptionally high. Like, I think it was because of
Yeah.
the way the wind was going and things like that. Plus also the way the jet streams were coming down here into the states. Like, you know, I got delayed. We canceled almost a full week of baseball because the kids couldn't be outside. It just wasn't good for them. Um,
Yeah.
and it's funny because now, or funny, maybe not funny, but sad because now in the back of my head, with the way Infocom is lining up and with the way that the baseball season is lining up and I'm managing my son's team, there's a small part of me in the back of my head that's like, okay, if we have another wildfire, I'm gonna miss the championship game again because that's what happened 2 years ago. I missed the championship game. I was in Orlando. It was 2 years ago. So I was in Orlando getting the updates while we were at I think it was a Monday night. I think we were at the Higher Ed AV Awards, and I'm getting message updates about the game because my son was playing in it. And it was a team I had been assisting coaching too. So like I missed out on it because of the delays. Um, and now, yeah, Infocom is earlier than like by a few days this year. And so it's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of like
Are you
drumming my
going?
that's the plan.
Okay.
And that's
Cool.
why I haven't booked my flight yet because I don't have the baseball schedule. So
Oh,
as soon as I get the baseball schedule and I know when I can fly, that's when I'm gonna hit. I'm pulling the trigger and I'm getting my flight down there. So
yeah. I haven't booked yet, but now that Joe told me that the HETMA Awards is the Monday night, then I'll
mhm,
probably be flying in Sunday because unfortunately, even though you take like a real early flight here, you've got the
mhm.
connecting. I wouldn't arrive into the Orlando airport until close to 6.
Ooh,
So it won't, it's a full day.
yeah, that's the tough part of making that trip across the
Yeah.
country this way. Like that's yeah, because
I
it's
just had that talk with my Canadian territory manager actually today.
mm,
Being out here in California, you don't think about that for any business you have from the Midwest to Canada to the East Coast, it is a full day of travel for me. So
mhm,
if it's not all glorious being a road warrior.
mm,
It's not as people think, oh, you're going to this place and this place. Well, yeah, but
yeah,
taking my Sunday away and then if it gets delayed or you're having to run from one terminal to the other, yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah. Well, I'm sure now, and this is a good segue, now that you're traveling all over the place and with the recent announcement here in the United States of the tariffs that have been long spoken by about our president have now been put into effect. Um, it's going to be interesting. I'm sure you've been inundated with questions regarding that. So, I mean, in higher ed, like for us, like
yeah.
that's that's the difference between you know, being able to complete a project and not being able to complete a project sometimes. As like, I know from our perspective, we ordered a bunch of our projectors like 2 months ago, like to make sure, like before the new year, to make sure that they were definitely, excuse me, within the normal pricing structure before things change. So,
Yeah, and I think we're encouraging integrators to stock up now because as a manufacturer, you don't know like really what is going to happen.
mhm,
And I just had internally, my manager just asked me yesterday, and he said, "How do you think you're going to be received when you go to the HETMA Roadshow in Toronto? Because you're coming from the U.S."
mm,
And I said, "Well, what's bonus for me is I am a Canadian. I
mm,
have dual citizenship, but I
mhm,
grew up in Ontario until the age of 30, and then I went off to California. So everybody knows that I am Canadian. So I do have that it's not going to be, oh, here comes that typical manufacturer from the US that has no clue what we're going through. So that's good. I
mhm,
am going to do consultant meetings in around Toronto and that. And so I'm wondering, because I'm sure I'm going to get that question.
Mhm.
And it's kind of hard right now. I mean, I'm putting my feelers out to understand what are manufacturers doing? Are we doing a wait and see? Are we planning from what we've heard, out in the media and that about what the percentage of the tariffs are to incorporate that into our pricing? It's
Right.
all up in the air.
Yeah. And that's unfortunately like it's hard to from our perspective, that's hard to plan for that, and
Right.
we I think my boss just got approval for our next budget. So like I don't know if that was part of the discussion was incorporating whatever price increases may be coming along with that. Um I would hope he did. I'd hope the university would be ready to whatever that increase may be.
Well, that's it,
Um
right? Do you put a buffer in? Because that's the big question mark. So for
uh
you guys, do you just say, okay, well, we anticipate the price will go up by this. So
it
let's
was
just
there's
plan
usually
it.
yeah, there's usually like a I don't know, 5% anticipation of increase. That seems to be, you just do that across the board in
Yeah.
general. But I mean, you don't take into account that, additional fees like tariffs and stuff like that. And those are subject to the will of the will of the federal government.
Yeah.
It's like so it could be 5%, it could be 20%, it could be so
Yeah. And
and I'm just making up numbers. I don't have any. So
right.
I'm just putting that out there to our listening audience that I'm kind of just pulling at strings on what the numbers might look like.
But I
So
do know from experience that China does manufacture a lot of our AV, meaning all of us manufacturers
hmm
of the products. And I think I just heard tonight that it's actually a higher tariff if it's coming from China.
I believe so. I believe China has the highest out of all of
Yeah.
them. I think because I think each one has every country has its own different one. Um, so
And and I think that might be because of the mercy of Chinese different goods and
yeah.
services and things. So
Well,
it's
and
not
I
just
feel
not
like
us, but
I mean my opinion my opinion is that our current political structure has it kind of in their brains of that China is against us. It's like that. And now again, my opinion, I could be wrong, but
yeah,
that's the air that I've been given. But I will say though that I think in some instances we might be okay because I feel like there are some manufacturers that during COVID when we had problems, and I'm bringing up COVID, and this is a good little additional segue that in 2 weeks we're gonna put this to bed, but um they moved manufacturing here to the United States, or like in areas where it's not wouldn't be as impacted and it was easier to get to those items. So I'm semi optimistic
yeah.
that certain products may stay pretty even keeled. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to really keep an eye on, and us as end users and purchasers are going to have to go out and kind of find out like where do the products come from. It's going to require
Mhm.
a little more research and a little more, double checking on things. So,
Yeah. So I think because I can't remember what it's called, Manufacturer Row or something, but in Mexico, is it Tijuana? I had been told it before by a previous manager because it was like Harmon and all the rest. But there's like this row in Mexico where it's all factories and where products are,
mm,
are built and things. So anybody that's doing Mexico, I think it's a tariff of 25%.
ooh, yeah, I'm not,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
I haven't really looked in it because I'm a wait and see type of gal.
hmm
Let all the dust settle from all the hoopla and let's see, reality wise what's gonna go on.
Here we go. Here we go. List. All right. Is this the most recent? Let's see if this is the most recent. Tariff rate weighted. I'm looking at a quick list, and I'm trying to see like time. United States imports tariffs. That's 2022. There we go. Oh, this is from the White House. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Well, 25% on additional tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico, and 10% additional tariff on imports from China. So it's 10% in addition to, I guess, whatever is already existing.
Okay.
Energy resources from Canada will have a lower 10% tariff. Oh, so he's dropping it. He's dropping the tariff on energy resources, but raising everything else. Oh, well, I'm not going to go into anything else that they put into this press release. So, all right, we're going to stop reading. This is just going to, all right. So that's the information that we needed. So it's an additional 25% on Canada and Mexico, which Mexico, yeah, I think Mexico is actually, no offense to our Canadian folks, but I think Mexico is the bigger hit because there's a lot of stuff that comes out of Mexico, like, car parts, and that's just off the top of my head. I'm sure there's others, but it's like, I feel like a lot of stuff comes from Mexico that, an additional 25% on top of whatever already exists that's a lot. That's a
Well,
lot.
I can tell you automotive wise is that there's the big Ford plant in Oakville. And my Ford Edge was actually there. It had a sticker on the windshield that said that it was built in Oakville, Ontario. And I feel that somebody did this because I found under the seat a coffee wrapper from Tim Hortons.
That's
So
funny.
it was either like, okay, this was meant for me to find this, but I see that would be affected big time. There are certain models coming out of the manufacturers.
Right. So, and I think there's like certain Toyota models are made in Texas, and I think like other, there's other ones that are down there in Mexico too, like you were saying, but it
But what do
it's
we
good.
do? What do we do, Tim? I mean, this is my question.
Mhm.
Like, what about Logitech? What about Yealink? What about I don't know where Hudley's manufactured.
Yeah, I mean, without knowing, and
Yeah.
it's interesting too because you can't even just target the specific company because different product lines may come from different locations.
No, they
Like,
do. For us, they do. Yeah.
right, and that's where like and Epson is the same way, and I'm only calling them out because we had this conversation with Epson, and their projectors come from the Philippines.
Yeah.
So, but there's other products within their line that don't come from the Philippines. I don't know exactly where, but they mentioned that they don't come from there. So from a projector standpoint, yeah, we're fine. But maybe document cameras don't come from the Philippines. Maybe they come from, maybe they come from China. Maybe they come from Japan. It's
Well, that's what I was wondering. I guess now that I reached out to Renee, Sony is Japanese, right?
yep.
So they wouldn't be affected then. I was trying to think of companies that also would be affected because of China. But yeah, they wouldn't be. I would what LG? Isn't LG? Because they're Asian, but I just don't know where they are.
Yeah. Let's see. 10 best audio visual products. All right. Well, we'll go and see what I can get from here. Samsung. Is Samsung? Is that right? No. I don't recognize some of these. And some of these, you know what? And actually, they may not necessarily, Nancy, they may actually not necessarily be companies that you recognize. Like they may
Yeah.
be like that.
Oh,
The
Hisense? Like they
well,
do
high set,
OEMing?
right? Or they make the
Oh,
internal part for one of the thing. Yeah, like I kind of was taking a quick look at the list, and I didn't really recognize them, and that's where it dawned on me is that, you know,
yeah.
like Samsung displays, but the LCD board that's on the inside,
Mhm.
I think that falls. Now, I'm just kind of pulling at what I remember, but I can't say there that same LCD board exists in other models for other
Yeah.
companies.
Philips
So,
does that. Yeah, and it's
right,
not Philips. I think it's, um, they're here in the US, and I was told they're either known as Philips something, but they're the ones that do the majority of the products for a lot of manufacturers. So, yeah, I
right.
know. Yeah.
So
Textron did
it
that,
right. So it's one of those things. So even though it may not necessarily
but the
be,
components would go
but the
up. Yeah.
components could be coming from elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and yeah, those OEM products are the ones that are going to probably get hit the hardest because,
Mm.
you look and you get it like an HD base T transmitter box from, I don't know, Panduit or something like that. But you see that same box very similarly looking from somebody else, and it goes, oh, well, actually, that's really made by XYZ company out of China. And it goes, oh, okay. So there you go. So that is the those are the sneaky products that will, because it doesn't impact us. It's not the direct to the manufacturer, it's the manufacturer to their supplier. So
Yeah.
that's where it's going to come to kick us. Um,
Yeah. It's connecting the dots.
right, exactly. And that's not easy to do nowadays. Like,
No.
we could connect to our direct manufacturer. Like, yeah, we know, we've got our contacts at LG, Samsung, whoever else we might be going with, but we don't know who they're working with. And
Yeah.
that's we had an issue with Epson, and this isn't any secret because a bunch of the higher ed folk dealt with it right before COVID, like right before it was like 2019, 2018. Their laser lamp projectors had a power board issue, and it wasn't because of anything that they changed. It was because the people that they bought the power board from changed something and didn't tell Epson. So like it's one of those, like, it trickles down the line. And now Epson did a great job. They handled the product, they handled the issue, and they swapped out product, and they helped us because we were early adopters of their laser projectors. And they did a wonderful job with that. Uh, but yeah, by a decision that was made by
Yeah.
the mass production company that created that power board, that
Yeah.
changed everything for the manufacturer. So,
Yeah, and it's a trickle down effect.
yep.
That's unfortunate.
Mhm.
And you look at, well, who does it point, or who do the majority of the people point to that it's
Right.
their fault, but it's not their fault?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where the tariffs are gonna come back to bite us, and it may not
Yeah.
necessarily impact us directly as like the EV industry. I think you're the average consumer, and I think we talked about this on a previous episode where the average consumer is the one that's gonna get probably hit the hardest. When we try to go and get a new washing machine, and instead of it being $1,100, it's gonna be $1,500. It's like, okay, well, that's where the problem changes. So
Mm.
um,
So is that not unfortunate, because what's happening is it's gonna slam the consumer, and the company isn't going to sort of absorb it and try to pass on to the consumer, so that, it's not the consumer having to pay for it all.
yeah, and that would, in an ideal world and in a good business sense, you would say, okay, well, part of this is my cost of doing business, not the
Yeah.
consumer's problem. But that's not how this works. We shouldn't be so ignorant to the fact that, like, they're these companies are out to make money. They have stockholders that they need to make money for, and it. So it's just gonna, like you said, it trickles downhill. So it's just pass the buck to the consumer, and yeah, your washing machine is gonna go up. So hope it doesn't go. Hope it doesn't go bad in the next 4 years.
So now I
Um,
now I feel like a Canadian where then I go, "Well, you know what?" And I have exemplative words going through my head. I'm gonna find a manufacturer where it is made within the US and support them, because that's what Canada's doing right now. They're going nuts. I gotta stop reading my Facebook of my relatives and my friends and acquaintances because it's constantly boycott the US, and then LCBO with their signs, which is our
mm,
liquor store, government-owned liquor store, and beer too. But they're saying, "We've gotten rid of everything that has to do with coming from the US, and it's gonna be Canada only," and it's like, "Really? Okay.
mhm,
Well, what'd you do? Did you throw it all out the back
mhm.
door or something?"
We'll come and pick it up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
um,
"I'll be there in a couple weeks."
yeah, and I know that from the United States perspective that, okay, we've raised the prices of the stuff that comes from another country. That means people in America will buy US products. Well, yes and no. It's like, okay, fine. Yeah, it'll be a little bit cheaper, maybe, but you're not addressing the actual problem. Like
Right,
it's
right.
it's
Yep.
it's bigger than just increasing prices for, by 25%. Um, we have, yes, we used to be a production superpower, like, but that hasn't been the case in 50 years at least. Like we're talking like the 1970s probably. So it's
Now, I have a good one for you, and I was
mhm,
thinking about this today. So, they're talking about how all of I've seen pictures of they're saying it's a ghost town in Vegas because all the, you know, illegal folks or immigrants or whomever that had to run back across to their home border, and so now you're gonna have farming affected, you're gonna have, the hospitality affected, etcetera. I remember when I was growing up in Ontario that a summer job would be out at a farm picking strawberries.
mhm,
It was, a job to get you through until school started again.
mhm.
Why cannot this be the case here?
I
Is it because that everybody's just too darn lazy that it's like I'm above and beyond that?
Well, it's not lazy, it's the expectation, and it's falls into the similar category as, like, camp counselors. Like, I my one of my first, like, getting a check job was as a summer camp counselor.
Yeah.
Like, I worked for the YMCA in my town, I was with little kids all summer long. It was
Mhm.
amazing. It was like, I had a great time. I learned how to work with kids. I learned how to work with adults. I learned, even young adults as
But
other like
you had
camp.
soft skills, so you had conflict
Right.
resolution,
Yep.
communication, you name it.
And also being used to being outside for 8 hours a day. Like that's
Yeah.
like something that, again, and that's why those sort of jobs like just don't. Yeah, we don't have production. We don't have, like, yeah, there are farms and stuff like that, but family-owned farms and, that's not they're owned by families, but they're not run by families anymore, you know? Like I think that's why. And I think there's kids that don't they'd rather be in an office. They'd rather be home playing video games. Like that's, but, as soon as my son is able to get working papers to get a job during the summer, he's going out there. It's like, you get out there, you learn how to be a functional member of society. Like,
Yeah.
my son would be a great camp counselor. Like, I think the kids would love him, and I think he would have an absolute ball being a camp counselor.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think he would do very well just picking strawberries all summer long, but there are some kids that'll be good at that. Like,
But that's just like when I started thinking back, it was like, um, the fruits, you'd see everybody out there. Now, if you wanted to make good money during the summertime, you would work in the factories. So my city had the Hostess potato chips, Hostess Foods before
Mhm.
it got bought by, I think it was Lay's.
I think
And
so, yeah.
sure, you would reek of potato chips and things like that, but they were making good bucks.
Mhm.
I instead was a bank teller for 7.75 with the Toronto Dominion Bank.
There you go.
I was trying to make some good money, but I didn't want to be in a stinky factory.
Right, well, there's yeah, and there's options, you know, like, that's
Yeah.
and, like, I went from working as a camp counselor to then I worked in a mail room for a major corporation and that led into my first full-time job
See, I think
as
that'd be cool.
yeah,
Just like
that
all the
was
movies, you see the mail guy.
I started in the mailroom. That was, that was my thing, and,
Yeah.
I did a couple summers with them, and I helped out, like, because the mailroom was only,
Now, did
like,
you have
4
to know
people.
somebody to get in there?
Well, that's a funny thing, yeah, my mom was the one that got me in because she worked for the company, and she
Yeah.
knew the director of facilities, and I started as a summer temp, so I went through the
Mhm.
temp agency, and they specifically pulled me for that job, uh, but I got the job, the full-time job on my own. That
Yeah.
was They saw the need and I was able to provide them the help they needed, so they hired me full time. That was all on me. But, yeah, my mom was the one that got me in the door. So,
Yeah.
but that was, that you're I'm sorting mail, delivering mail, receiving packages. They had us cleaning offices, like, after people left and, or they relocated or something like that. Like, we were the what's the word I'm looking for? Like, the Swiss Army knife of the, facilities department. It's like, "Okay, whatever's needed, just send the mailroom guys."
Yeah. But I think we're gonna have to adapt with a lot of the manual labor that has disappeared, and,
Mhm,
we gotta start looking at this in a different way. And I think with the younger generation, and I know what I've heard about Gen Z is, you know what? You just gotta suck it up because you gotta look at this as an experience that builds on to your character and, spin it and just not say, "Well, I was just a simple strawberry picker," or "I was, a hotel maid," or
mhm,
whatever. I mean, my girlfriend, her experience was she went out to Banff and worked at the Banff Hotel,
mhm,
which was as what do you call it? A maid, a chambermaid, or
mhm.
whatever. But she met so many people, and they didn't really make that much money, but it's the experience. It builds your
Right,
character.
mhm. And that's what it is. Like, I met so many people on various levels just delivering the mail in these buildings. Because
Yeah,
one day you're delivering mail to the CEO's office, and then the next day you're doing a round over at like the tax department. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, you're getting a little bit of everybody. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that's wow. I love how our conversations like just kind of like branch off and come into different areas. But yeah, I think that that's a way of the US combating is maybe not necessarily, but being able to provide the manufacturing that's needed
Mhm.
um, for to go with to support these tariffs as they were. Um, and it starts at home, I think.
Mhm.
Like, I know, Nancy, from the stories you've told about your boys are very much about, you know, getting to work and doing their thing. And, you know, I wish that for all the kids, that they have a good work ethic, and that's,
Yeah, yeah,
it's not bad to get your hands dirty from time to time.
yeah, yeah. I think so.
So, all right. Well, we can keep this one a little short today since it's just the two of us here. And that actually, that was a great conversation today,
Well,
Nancy. Thank you.
maybe we'll have more to talk about after tonight's, speech.
Yeah, I saw he actually, as we are here, President Trump is actually
Yeah,
talking and updating lawmakers in the country on what's happening. So yeah, we'll have more to talk about in the coming weeks when it comes to that, and when we actually start seeing what the impact is going to be here in the United States of these tariffs.
yeah,
Um, yeah, we're like like I said earlier, this is just speculation on mine and Nancy's part right now. So based on the social media backlash that's happening.
yeah, yeah.
So
We'll see what sticks, right?
exactly, yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then and then I
everyone.
can provide you with an update as I go back home for the
Mhm,
HETMA's first Canadian Roadshow, March the 25th.
There you go.
and I'll get a better idea of what the feeling is, and moving forward.
Nice. Yeah. And we'll, as I kind of alluded to, in a couple weeks, you're going to get an episode with some special guests, to be to be determined, but I got a couple of confirmed. We're going to put to rest COVID once and
Yeah.
for all. Like it's 5 years, and our great governor here in New Jersey, Governor Murphy, had reminded us that today, March the March the 4th, yes, as we're recording this, was the first confirmed case of COVID here in New Jersey. So it's been 5 years. Enough is enough. Like,
Yeah.
we need to stop this mentality of pre and post COVID. We're out of it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, we're out of it. We'll discuss this more at length. It's going to be almost like one of our old lightning rounds episode. But we're gonna have a roast of COVID, because we're gonna put it on a spigot, spin it, and we're gonna cook it until it's done, and we're gonna get it out of here. Because
Hallelujah.
yeah, exactly. Because this is, like I said, this is it. My feeling is we're done. Like, there's no more to talk about. We got through it. We're better or worse for it, however you want to look at it, but we need to just be done and move on. So yeah, come look for that episode in the next couple of weeks, as we're recording, get that out. Yeah, so I'll be also dropping some old episodes that haven't seen the light of day yet, so keep an eye out for those. Yeah, I've got some fun out of season episodes that are going to be coming up and out of sequence, so it's going to be interesting to to see how those come up. So yeah, so Nancy, thank you so much
Yeah.
for
Hey,
hopping
yeah.
in here
It was
tonight.
a great discussion
Oh
tonight.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, this was awesome. There is something to a little one-on-one conversation as opposed to having the whole crew here. But I love my crew, so I miss them all. So we hope
Yeah.
everybody is doing well. Um, yeah. So folks, for listening in. Whoa, I just like totally shook my camera. So for the
I know.
for the YouTube,
Are you having an earthquake? Do you need
no, that's not me. Not this time of year. Yeah, I kind of let my arms down on my desk too much. But for all of our listeners, and for everybody watching on YouTube, thank you for checking in with us here. And Nancy, thank you so very much. And for all of our folks out there, as I always say, until our next adventure.